Hi, so I had a question about merging two tables using a left outer join, and specifically finding records that were in one table that were not in the other table. And so Power BI does have something that's called a LeftAntiJoin, which is going to be very useful for this scenario. So I have what is probably a very oversimplified data set to help illustrate this. But let's suppose that I have these records in week 1, and then in week 2 I get a new set of records. And I want to know which records from week 1 are not in week 2. So those cases would be resolved cases. Alright, so let's go to Merge Queries, and we're going to do Merge as New. And we're going to select week 1 for table 1. We're going to select week 2 for table 2. And I want to find the records in week 1 that are not in week 2. So while I'm doing this, I have to make sure to highlight these fields. If you don't highlight those fields, then OK is not going to be an option. You have to tell it which linking field you're using. So notice if I just unclick this. All right, let me go back to this and then back to 2. I don't have a column selected, and notice how OK is grayed out over here. All right, so just it might be easy to assume, especially if there's only one column in your table, that it knows, OK, we want week 2. But anyway, make sure you also select the linking field. OK, so the left outer join, in some situations we might want that. But if I do want to know what records do I have in week 1 that are not continuing into week 2, then this is going to be the left anti-join. That's what Power BI is calling the left anti, and we'll say OK. All right. So let's go ahead and rename this resolved, this table. Okay, and so here I'm going to also rename this column the resolved cases. All right, and now let's suppose that I want to know the new cases. So again, I'm going to do merge queries as new. And I'm going to this time, I'm actually going to choose week 2 first, and then week 1. And I'm actually going to choose, again, the left anti. I know it's week 2, but that's the first table. So again, I'm looking for the rows that are only in week 2. Those are going to be our new cases. And OK. And let's go ahead and rename this. Let's rename this new. And let's rename the column new as well. This will make it cleaner when we're in the desktop and want to look at some counts for these new fields we're creating. And let's go ahead and also do an inner join to see our continuing cases, the cases that are in both week 1 and also in week 2. That might be helpful also just for checking our work. So back to home, merge queries as new. And let's call this, OK, again, week 1, week 2. And again, we are going to do an inner join. And I need to make sure to select these fields so it knows how to link them. And OK. And so again, this is what we're going to think of as our continuing cases. And I will also name this continuing. Let's see, where is my rename option? It's hiding from me. There we go. Continuing. All right, let's close and apply. And I'm going to do a table. I think I'll be able to do this in a table. If not, I can do it in a matrix. Let me just grab a table. And let's bring over our week 1 cases. and we'll just do a count. Our week 2 cases. And again, we'll do a count. And our, let's see, resolved cases. Let's do a count. New cases. Count. And then we'll do continuing cases. All right, and so let's just take a peek and see if things look like they're going right. So these were the cases included in both weeks. And if we count those plus the new cases, 415 plus 98 equals the count for week 2. So that checks out. That adds up to 553. Also, the continuing cases plus the resolved cases, 23, that adds up to 438, the count of week 1, and that makes sense. All right, so I hope that helps with trying that application in your work environment.